Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Sports Talk New York, the Facebook Live edition. Joining us now is the man who was a recipient of the President's Scholar Award at Royal Roads University. He earned a sports MBA at San Diego State University. His work for the National Hockey League, the Major League Soccer, Major League Baseball Players Association. He's currently the hockey brand manager for the Upper Deck Company. It is a pleasure to welcome Paul Zickler to Sports Talk New York, the Facebook Live edition. How you doing, Paul?
Hey, well, that was quite an introduction there, Mark. I appreciate it. You did a little research, so you deserve some kudos for that. But everything's great. It's a pleasure to be on your show.
Yeah, anytime we get to talk hockey during these times, it's definitely good. Your background, as we alluded to in the intro, is pretty interesting. You're from Vancouver. You come to the U.S. in order to get your sports MBA at San Diego State. As part of that program, you interned with Upper Deck 1 day a week. So what were some of the things you got to do during that internship, and what was the most important thing you learned from that experience?
Well, it just kind of gave me a visibility into the sports licensing sort of industry. Working 1 day a week, it was more strategic projects that I worked on. But it was also the year 2011. It was the year the Canucks went to the Stanley Cup Finals against the Bruins, obviously being from Vancouver. So I actually worked with Upper Deck to help pre-sell the Stanley Cup box set that year. I was at Game 2. And, that's really where I started to sort of gain a relationship with the NHL and led me there to New York. So it really got my footing in the industry, gave me that launch pad. And sports business in general is a very small group. So once you sort of get the right introductions in the right context, it kind of leapfrogged my career in this industry.
For sure. The networking there is very cool because, like you said, you're at Game 2 in Vancouver. There you meet the people from the NHL, led to the internship at the NHL. And then you joined Major League Baseball Players Association as a licensing manager overseeing trading cards and memorabilia. I have to imagine that position was eye-opening as now you're on the other side of the table. What were some of the things that you took from that experience when you eventually came back to Upper Deck as brands manager?
Yeah, I think, first off, being from Canada, baseball, other than the Blue Jays winning a couple World Series, I didn't know too much, right? But the baseball industry and just the lineage, right, it gave me a lot of visibility into just the breadth of sports licensing and how many different product categories that it encompasses, right? Anything from a jersey that you see at the stadium, to a figurine, to a trading card, it's a vast array of products. And, the interesting experience about being on sort of the licensor side, was I had visibility to all those different categories and relationships, Sony video games, digital space is another one. So I really got to dip my toes in terms of, gaining relationships across many different categories, and also creating promotions like National Baseball Card Day that we actually infused players handing out cards the day of the promotion, to really activate promotions. So I look to bring that experience here in some of the relationships and sort of different types of promotions. Activating the Players Association and the NHL relationships to really create some unique programs and marketing aspects to support, Upper Deck's initiatives.
So how have those relationships with the NHL and Major League Baseball Players Association helped you in your role as the Upper Deck brand manager?
Well, and my role at the Upper Deck, sort of as brand manager, is I oversee all the sports trading card products. And that's really taking the products from inception when we conceive the different inserts and the product descriptions, et cetera, all the way through to production and timing, right? Because we have a very fluid calendar each year where we want our products to fall. Obviously, this year we're in a little bit of a more unique situation, but we want to have that space and timing, sort of congruency throughout our entire calendar. So I kind of help to make sure we do that. That's one aspect. The second aspect is obviously maintaining relationships with our licensor partners, and because I sort of was on that side at the MLBPA, and working at the league, I had a lot of those relationships already built. So, it's just an extension of sort of what my experiences had, and I'm looking to obviously use that to sort of bring new hockey products, bring new promotions, bring new activations, and reach new collectors. That's really, what I'm looking to do now.
You mentioned the partnerships. Currently, Upper Deck is the exclusive trading card partner of the NHL and the National Hockey League Players Association. That continues an industry trend with exclusive now the norm for baseball with Topps, NBA with Panini, and NFL also all locked up. Do you think exclusivity has helped or hurt the card market?
Well, that's Mark. That's the only sort of scope that I know. I started with Upper Deck in 2011, and then moved to New York for those other two positions starting in 2012. So the exclusive landscape is really all that I've known. I think from a licensor standpoint, they like having to deal with one partner. There's certain marketing initiatives we support and programs, and I think there's an sort of accessibility and easeability with that. But I think also where the market was at, the last 20 years, I think it sort of obviously came down a bit from the boom in the 90s. So I think there was a myriad of factors, but I also think, that there is positivity to having multiple partners. There's more of a push of innovation. So I think it's just the nature of where we're at in the industry these days. I think if we continue to grow as we've seen the last 5 to 6 years, who knows? I know like at the MLBPA, we had two partners with Panini and Topps, so I think it can coexist. We just got to keep growing the overall category, and I think that will become more of a norm again.
So Upper Deck Series 1 hockey cards was just released a little before Thanksgiving. It's generated a lot of buzz in the industry. The most in-demand card from the set is Young Guns rookie card of #1 NHL draft pick Alexis Lafrenière, his first card in New York Rangers uniform. The two top prospects in the NHL draft were Alexis and Quentin Bleifeld. They go 1-2 in the draft to New York and Los Angeles. Both huge markets, both of whom you have an exclusive autograph deal with as well. Does having a Ranger and a King going 1-2 overall help to create a greater desire for product because of the size of those markets?
100%. 100%. There's another interesting stat. Alexis only the 6th Canadian forward to be selected over #1 overall by a U.S. franchise in the last 20 years. So he's part of an elusive category as it is. But I think first and foremost, I think both Alexis and Quentin are marquee prospects. It's not, I think they're generational talents, and I think Alexis proved that, winning his MVP award in his junior league 2 years, which was the first person to do it since Sidney Crosby, and leading Canada, obviously, in the U20s to the gold medal. Last year, he's a very unique player. He combines sort of a power physical game with finesse, and that type of player just doesn't come around very often.
I have to imagine the buzz that the set is generating is very gratifying to you, as people are really creatures of habit. Here we are in December. Normally, we're 3 months into a hockey season. At this moment, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we don't know when the NHL season will start. How surprised are you at the buzz, given the uncertainty around the sport right now?
Well, and I think it's there's, as we were discussing sort of prior to going live, there's been a couple things that have contributed to that. But I think that falling to a market like New York, #1 is a huge driver. This is a team that it was on the cusp of making the playoffs. They were in the qualifier. They have Panarin, who was, in the top of the MVP voting, a bunch of young good talent. So first and foremost, he's going to a very exciting team where he's going to have latitude to play, and he's going to have the support and the supporting cast to really produce. So I think that's number one. And then number two, I think the industry just is in a really good space. What we've seen in the industry over the last 6 months is that trading cards in general have been very, very popular. Whether it was the break in sports during when the pandemic first hit, the Michael Jordan documentary, The Last Dance, fans just being at home and not being able to share in the sports that they love and are so used to seeing all the time. The industry just is taken off. And, we've seen that sort of demand for our products increase over the last 6 months. And now here we are with our sort of flagship release, and it's flying off the shelves.
It's interesting you mentioned that, people being home. I think when, we get to points where in our life things are uncertain, we look for comfort in some of the things we had in our youth and simpler things. And I think maybe just the joy of opening up a pack of hockey cards or baseball cards, brings a little breath of fresh air during that. And I find that for me, I knew I've started buying packs again, which I haven't done in years. So I think you're right with that. Many stores were forced to close temporarily as a result of the pandemic, but collectors still had access to many of your products through ePack. Can you tell our audience a little bit about ePack and what you've noticed about the sales on that platform during the pandemic?
Yeah, sure. No, our Upper Deck ePack platform, is really has sort of evolutionized the industry. And what it is it's actually a digital platform where you can buy packs of cards, so obviously sign up for an account and buy packs of cards. They download into your collection as a digital card, but you can actually have those cards shipped to you, and have actually received the physical cards in return. So the number of hobby shops over the last 20 years has definitely gone down, although we've seen an increase in Canada, the last couple of years, but there are a lot of global collectors that just couldn't get access to product. And so Upper Deck ePack really gives us a global reach. We launch a number of hockey releases throughout the year that you can purchase online and then have the physical card shipped to you. That's sort of the first element. The second element is there's a whole collectors community associated with the Upper Deck ePack platform. So, you can connect with other collectors, you can trade in real time, and we also have a ton of different achievement cards that you can earn, by stacking or completing certain sets. So it sort of makes that sort of trading, sort of element that we used to do back at the card show days really accessible, and you can sort of connect with the collecting community via your phone or computer. So, it's something we're really proud of. It's something that the other companies just aren't doing. And it's obviously with the goal of just connecting our community and making our products available worldwide.
It's a great idea for sure, especially now. You make the market much smaller through the computer. People all over the world communicating with each other. When you used to just have to go across the street with your friend to make trades, now you can do it with someone in Norway.
Correct.
It's interesting because, I go back, I think, actively collecting to 1966. And one of the things that were always so cool, especially for me, I guess I was 9 in 1969. It's when I really could comprehend everything. And for me, in the 1969 baseball set, there was a thing called Deckle Edge, which was just like this beautiful photograph with deckled edge, black and white photographs of players. And those were like the chase cards. You guys have somewhat brought that back with what you guys call Easter eggs. So can you tell us about the philosophy of Easter eggs and what that has generated interest-wise within the hobby for Upper Deck?
Yeah, well, obviously your history in the industry is a little bit deeper than mine. But, from what I can tell since I've been in the industry is that collectors, are always, want to see the checklist and know everything about the set, who's in there and what the inserts are, and the quicker and more detailed information they can get, they want it. They do like the data and sort of the analysis behind the industry. And, the thing about Easter eggs is it's also good to have some surprises, and just like when you open your first pack and you don't know, what card you're going to pull, it's also good to know and to have some surprise inserts or surprise hits or surprise autograph subject, and I think that's another element where it's just a good way to keep our collectors on our toes, and and just make sure that they're surprised every once in a while too.
It's funny you mentioned about the excitement of opening up the pack, and I just completed a book on New York Mets first, and one of the questions we ask is if they remember their first baseball card when they opened it, or do they remember the pose of their first baseball card. I'll never forget this. Jeff Innes was a big baseball card collector, and he said, fast forwarding when he got to his career, he realizes that his baseball card is the one he used to hate getting as a kid. He said he would get like 50 of like some middle relief pitcher that really hadn't accomplished much, and he said now he's that guy. So it's funny how generations, it's still the same when you open those packs. Back in the height of the collecting days, and you mentioned the boom in the 90s, I would get every single major card release set, Topps, Top Stadium, Leaf Portrait, Studio, Upper Deck, Donruss, all of those. You guys have introduced several new hockey brands like Allure, Credentials, Stature. What is the strategy for offering several different types of sets, and what is the evolution of those sets from idea to production?
Yeah, no, I think the sort of the evolution of the sets is, there's definitely been a growth in chromium-based sort of products over the years, and so we're looking at trends, and that's obviously what you see with Allure. With Credentials, we just wanted to take, some of the products and the new products, we wanted to bring a new look to a trading card product. So, the theme of that product was a little bit different. We wanted to emulate things that collectors see when they're at a game, so we had things like hot dogs, which was an insert attributed to goal celebrations, and we had the Game View ticket access, which sort of emulated a ticket to the game, so some of the new brands just sort of evolved from trying to take a different look or a unique or tag a different look to the NHL and to the sport of hockey, and then some of our other sort of evolutions like Stature is just on the premium side to continue to push the innovation envelope. And obviously, if you saw those cards, Mark, just the substrate and the finish of those cards, they really popped. The colors popped, the autographs popped. So we just wanted to continue to evolve sort of the innovation and the sort of premium look of our cards, and that's what we delivered in Stature. So each of those new brands has kind of a different, sort of thing that kicked it off, but we look at industry trends, we look at innovation, and that's what really guides, some of the new brands we bring to the market.
So how do you walk that fine line? Like, how do you view your market, like the demographics? Are you trying to appeal to the younger generation with the physical cards, or are they more the e-pack, or because where can you set that price point where you have adult collectors as opposed to kid collectors? How do you walk that fine line?
Yeah, well, if you look at our full breadth of products, right, we obviously kick off the year with products like MVP and OPG. Typically those are a lower price point. They're deeper checklists, and one thing I've seen over the industry is that the market continues to obviously grow and become more expensive. The cost of autographs continues to go up, so a lot of sort of those high-end products just aren't accessible. So what we pride ourselves on at Upper Deck is really creating a full spectrum product list, product schedule ranging from, sort of cost efficient, deep sets, and then up to like the Statures and the Cup and the high end collectors that, want to go after sort of those high end hits. So, that's sort of where we sort of drive our schedule, is we want to accommodate at some spectrum, to each one of the collectors, whatever their price point is, wherever they may shop. And you'll see that on EPAC, we strategically put on products that accommodate to each one of those markets as well, to ensure that they can sort of reach our cards, whether on EPAC or at the store level.
So one of my favorite things that Topps does is the heritage sets, where they use the layout of an older set and reuse them for current players. Upper Deck owns Parkhurst. Has there been any, and I know they've done some designs with older designs, is there any thought of maybe, doing a parallel set with like the Parkhurst from the early 50s and 60s with the current players?
That's a good idea. We've sort of, Parkhurst has traditionally been a retail exclusive brand. We have launched sort of an EPAC hobby component the last couple of years. And I don't know if you can recall, I think it was 2 years ago, we actually did a buyback of the 51-52 set and seeded it in. So I do think that is a product where we could potentially bring back some of those vintage designs, but we've sort of just started dipping our toe in terms of Parkhurst and putting some more high-end content in there. So we'll see how it goes. I'll definitely take that recommendation back to my product team and see what.
I'll be first in line for sure. All right. So I thought it would be pretty cool to close out by opening some packs. All right. So I went to the local store. I bought, Series 1. So before I open it, what are the odds of me pulling a Dazzler Blue, a Rare Pink, or a Debut, or a Predominant, or even a Gold? What do you think out of the 3 packs I have? What you think I stand a shot?
The pink, the pink's far out. I think that's one per case. But 1 and 4, you should get a young gun. So let's see. I want to see you pulling Alexi on the.
That would be awesome, right?
Yeah, that card is pretty popular on eBay these days, for sure.
All right, so let's see. Velsky, let's see, Nick Leddy, let's see. I'm just going to quickly go through this. Anders Lee, not bad. Let's see. They're beautiful cards. I mean, there's no question. Upper Deck always. I love the actual feel. I did get a young gun. I got a Shane Bowers, so we did get a young gun.
Oh, nice for the Cavs. Yeah,
240. Yeah, 240. Card number 240. Really beautiful card of Connor McDavid.
Yeah, you see the foil. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. And now let's see, Varlamov. All right, let's see if we get up. Tony D'Angelo. All right, we got a Ranger. Oh no, Ben Bishop. Not a bad collection of guys, but I did get a young gun.
Odds if you pull the young gun.
But all right, here, let's see. We got 2 more packs to go. I don't know if we're gonna get
the other young guns to look out for. Bowen Byram is another stud defenseman that's on the Avs team. He may be, he's probably in the running to be the captain for the next World Junior Canadian team. But he's one of the young guns in the set this year. And then also the Robertson brothers, Nick and what's his brother's name? I got it written down here, Jason. But they have a very unique story. Obviously one's in Dallas and one's in Toronto. And Nick was actually born premature, 3 months premature, and had a crazy start to his life. But he is 5'9" and plays the game really hard. He actually played 4 games in the playoffs. That's where he kind of made his debut for the Leafs. And I think he had 1 goal in 4 games. But those brothers are both in the Young Guns checklist, and they're going to be fun to watch this year as well.
All right, so in this pack, I got some nice ones. So I got a UD canvas of Jonathan Quick. Nice card.
That's a nice card. Yeah, the canvas stock.
But I gotta love this because I've never ever had this, whether it be baseball or in one pack. I got 3 Rangers. I got Zibanejad, Jacob Trouba, and Shesterkin. So that's not bad. So
Shesterkin's going to be a player for sure. Yeah. What do you think of Trouba? I
like Trouba. I mean, listen, I think he might be overpaid. But somehow we fit everyone under the cap, and he's a definitely serviceable, tough defenseman. And I think also this year he'll be a little better. I think, listen, when you come to New York with a big contract and expectations, it's a lot.
Hey, I was going to tell you, it took me 2 years to get used to living in Brooklyn. From the weather to the density of the people to the humidity, everything. So obviously moving from a market like Winnipeg to the Big Apple, it takes some time. I thought he picked up his game at the end of the season. Yep. And, I think he'll be a rock on the back end this year for your team.
So I did also get a UD portraits, Darcy Kempner.
Nice. Yeah, that's Billy, our product manager. You can kind of look at the cards and obviously the color pops, but it kind of gives you a Saved by the Bell feel. He always likes to bring some creative. The Zach Morris card, I'm calling it. It's kind of a unique, fun design this year.
And the checklists are pretty cool too. So I got 2 checklists, and you don't really mind them because it's got Pasternak and Ovechkin and Panarin and McKinnon. So it's all in all, it's a beautiful set. Really appreciate your time. And unfortunately now I'm going to have to start going out every day, buy more packs.
Yeah. You got to finish the set now that you started.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Paul, thanks so much. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Have a good holiday season, and hopefully we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, stay safe and stay healthy, and let's drop the puck soon.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Paul, be good.
Bye.
Paul Zickler, Upper Deck brand manager, talking about the new Series 1 Upper Deck hockey, which has the Young Guns subset in it. And I'm going to have to go out right now because I definitely, I need Lafrenière. Got to get it. All right, have a good one, everybody.